Are you? Are you fine? Do you hear me? Are you there? Can anybody say anything, please? Can you hear me well? Can anybody hear me, please? Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. Okay, very good. So, now please, we're going to start our class of today in the unit. Maybe you remember last week you did a kind of exam. We're going to overlook this part very quickly, and you have there maybe you can see it better now. Okay, so now maybe you remember some of these exercises, and I need your contribution. Okay, thank you Celia, thank you Sandra. Okay, now please stay focused on this part because many of you did it very well, and I need your contribution during this exercise. So, number one, match both columns. And we're talking about immigration. What do you think that is the definition of immigration according to the column of your right hand? What do you think? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you think? So, immigration is what? According to you. Now you can put the number of your answer. What do you think? Waiting for you. So, immigration is the number of inhabitants. Is it the age until which a person is expected to live? What do you think? Is the people who come in a country? Can you answer? Do you remember? Thank you, Ines. Thank you. So immigration is 3 people who come in. Now, let's move to birth rate. What do you think? Birth rate. Birth rate. 1, the number of inhabitants. 6, people who go. This is a mistake of mine. Who go. This is a mistake of mine, sorry. Out. What do you think? So, birth rate. B, birth rate. What do you think? Birth rate. You don't remember. You don't remember. So, yes. Yes, thank you, Ines. Thank you. So, birth rate is the people, number 5, the people who are born this year. So, and death rate, this is C. C is, what do you think? C. Death rate is, what do you think? And asking for the definition of death rate. And you think that death rate is not so difficult. Ines is the fastest this morning. Yes, so this is number 4. Immigration, V is number 6. People who are out, this is immigration. Okay, immigration. And absolute population is, you remember, number 1 is the number of inhabitants. We're going to study today the absolute population of Europe, and life expectancy is finally F. This is But 2, it is the age until which a person is expected to live. And the difference between quantitative and qualitative aspects of a population, and you can put many examples in this chat, but the difference is that quantitative aspect is something that can be answered with a number, okay? And the key phrase is how many, okay? How many of us are there in our family? Okay, this is a quantitative aspect of a population, and a qualitative aspect is a question that can't be answered with a number. Okay, so what do you think about the government? Okay, very good, very bad, very badly, or whatever. Okay, very good. So now go here. You have, maybe you remember here, you have agreed with 8 words, and you had to place these 8 words into this part here on your right hand. Okay, so there can be some different answers, but clearly natural causes of the decrease in a population are natural causes, not wars, because wars are not natural. Okay? Wars are things that sadly men do. So, but you can think about earthquakes, about droughts, sequías, about floods. Okay, good. And social causes, the rest. And there are social causes and economic causes. Okay, many times it is very difficult to differentiate, to tell one from the other. So, for example, a war is a social cause, and poverty is social but also economic. Unemployment is social but also economic. Very good. So this is a kind of answer that can be interchanged. Now, very good. And let's focus on the next exercise. So you had to answer to these 5 questions. So the first one is, what is the average number of children per family call? The average name of children per family call. Active population, migration, or fertility rate. What do you think? What do you think? We are studying, we are remembering about 4.1. What is the average number of children per family call? So A, B, or C? What do you think? A, B, or C? I'm waiting for you. So talking about 4.1. What is the average number of children per family call? What do you think? Is A, is B, or C? Very good, Miguel. Very good, Miguel. Fertility rate. Let's move to the next one. So the people who are more than 64 years old are classified as child population? Hardly. Adult population or elderly population? People who are more than 64 years old. What do you think? What do you think? Now, what do you think about that? This is what do you think? Very good, Ines. Very good, Miguel. Very good, Celia. Very good, Julia. Very good. Now let's move to the next one. You know a lot of things about population, and you got to like population. Ines, population is a very interesting theme. Now, what happens if there are more births than deaths in an area? So, the population increases, the population stays the same, the population decreases, more births than deaths. 4-3. What do you think? 4-3. Talking about what happens if there are more births than deaths in an area. Does the population increase or it stays the same. You think? Yes, yes, A, very good. So if there are more birds than deaths in an area, population increases. Very good. Now, population that lives in small villages is called, in small villages, 4. What do you think? It's called inactive population, rural population, urban population. What do you think? 4. Waiting for your answer. 4. Inactive population, rural population. Very good. This is the same words in Spanish. This is Spanish. Very good, very good. You know a lot of things about that. Yes, yes. Now, what happens to the population when there are more immigrants than immigrants? More immigrants than immigrants. What do you think? Remember that immigrants were people that came in our country, and immigrants were people that went out of our country. So what happens to this population? More immigrants than immigrants. This is the case of Spain. What do you think? Does the population increase? Does the population stay the same? Or the population decreases? What do you think? What do you think? No, Samuel Rollo. No, the population doesn't stay the same. When there are more immigrants, this is the case of Spain. In Spain, you know there are many immigrants, and that's the reason why the population in Spain is growing up. Okay. Despite of the fact that our fertility rate is one of the lowest in the world. So when there are more immigrants than immigrants, the population increases. Now, here, let's move to the last exercise. 5. Point the old one out and give your reasons. Another mistake of mine. Sorry. Give your reasons. So, and we have Buddhist, Japanese, Moroccan, or British. What do you think? What do you think? 5-1. Buddhist, Japanese, Moroccan, or British. What do you think? Which is the intruder there? Buddhist, Japanese, Moroccan, or British? What is your answer? Yes, Miguel. Yes, Buddhist. This is the intruder. Why? Because the rest are related to countries, and Buddhist is just people that belong to our religion. So Buddhist, this is the odd one out. Okay, let's move to the next one. So we're talking about Chinese, Native American, billionaires, and Indian. One of them doesn't belong to this group. What do you think? What do you think? 5-2. Chinese, Native American, billionaires, and Indian. Chinese are people from China. Native American are people in the United States or in every other country in America that belong to this country from centuries or millennia. Billionaires, people that have a lot of money. And Indian, people that are from India. What do you think? What do you think? Billionaires. Yes, because billionaires is an economic group of population. Good. Let's move to, this was the most difficult for many of you. We're talking about fertility rates. We're talking about 1.5, 2.1, 2.5, and 3.0. Which is the odd one out? 1.5, 2.5, 2.1, 2.5, or 3.0? This is the most difficult question in this kind of exam. What do you think? I'm waiting for you. No, you're mistaken. Miguel, you're mistaken. Julia, yes, Julia's right. So the odd one out is the first one, is 1.5. And why is that? Because this is the only fertility rates by which the population of this country, of this group, decreases. With the rest of them, with 2 point, if all women in a country have more than 2 children, population increases. But if 2 women have all in all 3 children, over time the population decreases. So this is the odd one out. Now, finally, we're finishing this part. 5.4. We have under 5s, teenagers, socialists, and adults. What do you think? Which is the intruder? Which is the weird? What do you think? Under 5s are people that are less than 5 years old. Teenagers, people that are between 13 and 19. Socialist, people that belong to a party, or they have a particular ideology, political ideology. And adult, people that can be vote. So what do you think? 5.4. Socialist. Very good, Miguel. Very good, Inés. Very good. Why? Because this is the only group that belong to a political group. The rest of them belong to an age group. And finally, we have wars. This is very easy. Wars, education, famines, and plagues. What do you think? What is the odd one out here? Which of these doesn't belong to the group? Talking about 5.5. Waiting for you. What do you think? Very good, Inés. Very good. I think you're right. Yes, Inés. And your reason is right as well. Yes. Very good, Miguel. You're very attentive today. Very good. So education. This is the odd one out. Education is a very good thing, okay? But wars, famines are situations in which people starve. People die because they don't have anything to eat. Famines and plagues is the same. We are suffering today kind of plague in the entire world, especially in our country, okay, and in other countries in the world. Very good. Now, please, you need to go to your notes. We have there another exercise. This one, remember, this one you can find it page number 9, and you have to investigate about the countries, not about these here, or the capital cities of 10 different countries, the 10 more populated countries in the world. Okay, and these are not the countries, these are the capital cities. So you have here Mexico City is the capital city of Mexico, this incredible country. Moscow belongs to Russia, and Lagos to Nigeria. Okay, so on. And we are not to correct the entire exercise. So you only have to tell me which is the most populated country in the world with more than 1 billion people. More than 1 billion people. I'm waiting for you. So, talking about which one is the most populated country in the world. the most populated country in the world? What do you think? What do you think? China, yes, yes. China is the most populated country in the world. Okay, it's next to China. We have another country that is really populated, almost the same size in population as China. So, which is the second country in the world? The second country in the world that is the most populated one. What do you think? What do you think? China is the first, but the second. Talking about the second, what is the name of the second country, the most populated country in the world? You remember? The most populated country in the world is China. But Pablo Laborda, we're talking about the second one. The second one? Yes, Ines. Yes, Julia. I need some more. Very good, Samuel, very good. So, China, the first. The second most populated country in the world is India. Both are located in Asia. But I'm looking now for the 10th. The 10th country has kind of 127 million people. 127 million people. Okay. The first country in the world, the most populated country in the world that speaks Spanish. You remember talking about the number 10. Country number 10. Can you tell me the answer? Can you? Can you tell me the answer for the 10th? Very good, Ines. You can tell it, I think. You can tell it. Good. So, Mexico. It's Mexico. Very good. Julia. Ines. Julia. Very good. Very good. Okay. Now, you have here another very easy exercise. You have to decide if whether or not these factors affect the population density in a positive way or in a negative way. So we have here 12 factors, and some of them are positive for population and some of them are negative for population. So what about a land that is flat and fertile? What do you think? What do you think? Is this a good factor or a bad factor for a population density? Which means that if people want to live in a flat and fertile land, this is negative for the population because there are few people that want to go there, or positive. What do you think? To have a flat and fertile land is positive or negative? What do you think? Positive or negative? It's not so difficult. It's positive. Okay, this is positive. And you have a good economy and high technology. Is this good for population or bad for population? Is a positive factor or a negative one? What do you think? Pablo, positive with V. Positive with V. With V. Beware of your spelling. Good economy and high technology is another positive factor. And what you think about here? Barren soils. Barren. This is an adjective that means that this land is not good to raise cattle, to grow vegetables, to grow plants. What do you think about barren soils? Is a good or a bad thing for a population? You think good or bad, positive or negative? You can put P or and. You think? Negative. Very good. Very good. Now, please, you have here the text of today, and we're going to see some clips about that. So, and the population in Europe. And you have here the most populated European countries, and the most populated European countries, you can see them in this image, and in this graphic. So Russia is the most populated country in Europe. You know that Russia has an extension that spreads from Europe to Asia. Okay, the population in millions of inhabitants is more than 143 millions of inhabitants. Okay, Russia, and then we have Germany. Here, Germany, with more or less around 80 million people there. And in the third place, France. France and United Kingdom are more or less the same size in population, but France has more than 66 million inhabitants, while United Kingdom has more than 64 million inhabitants. Then Italy comes with around 60 million people, and then Spain. This is the population of Spain nowadays, more or less 46 million people, a little bit more, 46 million people. Okay, and this is the map about the population density in Europe. You remember that population density is an interesting factor about how population is distributed in the area. So you had to make a division, you had to divide the absolute population by the number of square kilometers of each country. So, and in this case, you can see here the map. If you want to read the map, you need to follow these clues. And this green color is the color for the areas of Europe that have a very high population density. And you can see here London. This is Paris. This is Brussels and Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And you have here Madrid as well. Madrid, Rome. Okay, very good. So these are the most densely populated areas in Europe. But if we are talking just about countries, you have the Netherlands, Belgium they are the two most densely populated countries in Europe. Spain ranks the seventh place. Okay, and this is the fertility rate in Europe. This is important because there are countries that have very good fertility rates, especially France. Can you see here? Ireland, okay, Iceland here, and the Scandinavian countries in the north of Europe. But conversely, there are countries such as Spain, Greece, Portugal, okay, or Poland. This is Poland, and these countries, among them ours, have the lowest fertility rates, which means that if things stay the same in the future, population is going to decrease. Okay, and now I'd like you to watch some clips about the highest countries in Europe with the most population. So pay attention to this interesting video clip. Attention, this is the year. We're talking about the beginning of the 20th century, so 1908. Okay, and we are moving up to the 22nd century. So in this date, these were the largest countries in Europe. So Russia, Germany, United Kingdom. Here you have Spain. But back at those times, Spain had fewer than 20 million people or inhabitants. And Russia, the most populated country, Russia, Germany, United Kingdom, France, Italy. You have the Ukraine, Poland, okay, and follow this trend. This is the year, next year, 1939. This is the year when the Second World War erupted. Okay, and you are going to see the population of Poland, how it's decreasing, how it's sinking down. And this is because of the war. You remember, when there is a war in a country or in a group of countries, population decreases. And Polish population was sinking. Okay. Now look, Turkey. Turkey is increasing their population. Turkey is one of the most polluted countries in Europe. Okay, you have Turkey here, and after the Second World War, Turkish population was increasing. It's one of the most polluted countries in Europe now. So we are this year, 1966. Turkey, here, the third country in population now, 1993. Russia and Germany are the first and the second country. Spain, in 2000, in this year, Spain had 40 million inhabitants. Okay, 20 years ago, only 20 years ago. Okay, we now have 7 more million people in Spain in 20 years. Okay. But this is because of the immigration in Spain. Sorry. These are more or less how things stand today. Okay, more or less. So Spain has this figure, and from now on, this is a prediction. Okay, we don't know it for sure. Okay, this is a prediction until this year. This is a prediction. This is what statisticians think that is going to happen, but we don't know it for sure. Look at Spain. Spain is expected to decrease its population. Look at Spain. Dramatic, isn't it? Spain is shrinking its population. Why? Because we have a very low fertility rate in Spain. Okay, so if the trend continues, this is what could happen in the future. Okay, but look, France, they are increasing their population because their birth rate is a very high rate compared to the rest of Europe's. Look, Italy, same case as Spain. Why? Because Italy, as well as Spain and other countries such as Greece and Portugal, have a very low fertility rate. That's the reason why. Okay, in the future, we don't know it for sure, but in the future, if things don't change, this is the population that is expected to have all these countries. Okay, very good, very good. Now, please, we're going to cut this part of the class because we have some very beautiful presentations that were made by some of you. This presentation was made by Pablo Laborda about Tirso de Molina. So, you remember that Tirso de Molina was one of the most important, most outstanding writers in the Spanish Golden Age. Okay, he was a monk. You can see here, he was a monk, and he wrote a lot of plays, as you're going to see now. Now, forget about this picture. This picture has nothing to do with this a mistake of Pablo. Okay, but he was born in Madrid. This is the important thing. And he was a playwright. Playwright means he was a person that wrote plays for the theater. Okay, and more things about his fathers. And this is Lope de Vega. We'll talk things about Lope de Vega. Lope de Vega was born in Madrid as well. Okay, and he met Lope de Vega in Alcalá de Henares University. Remember, Alcalá de Henares had a university that competed with Salamanca. Salamanca was the most important university in Spain, along with La Sorbona in Paris, Oxford, and Cambridge in England. In England, not United Kingdom, because at the time United Kingdom didn't exist at all. So we have to say England. We are talking about modern age. And he was Lope de Vega was one of the masters of Tirso de Molina. He traveled to many places. Okay, Alcalá de Henares, Toledo. Good. And this is too much text for us. And here you have a poem that Pablo selected by Tirso de Molina, que el clavel y la rosa, ¿cuál era más hermosa? El clavel lindo en color, la rosa todo amor, el jazmín de honesto olor, la azucena religiosa, ¿cuál es la más hermosa? It's difficult to say. Okay, very good, very good. So this was interesting, but I'd like you to look at this document. This is a document, you're going to know it, that was made by Pablo de Soto. Pablo de Soto did this very interesting work that is going to be commented by himself. And this is the transition, the architectural, I can say it in English well. So this is in architecture. There's a transition between the Romanesque style to the Gothic style, and this is a very good work made by Pablo de Soto. I like you to pay a lot of attention to his descriptions because he tells it very well. Pay attention to him.
This is a Roman arch. Look at the numbers 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Those are dovelas. Number 5, it's called clave. Numbers 1 and 9 are called muro. So, what the force of gravity do? Press come down during the clave. Continue in the dovelas and press out the muro. But the muro has to be so thick. Oh, let's go to build. If we do it better, this will be exactly like the other. The unique difference will be in here.
Oh,
No! We don't want any more of that to happen. Better like that. With some arbotantes, it will be good. Oh, let's go to build. This is called Fimbra. It will help us to build. We have to build little by little. And this is the final result. Using this type of building, using the arbotantes, we can build two much large buildings. Those triangles are called pináculos. I use it to press down. Those holes are called naves. First one, second one, third one. And this is the difference. This is the end. Bye.
my God, my God. What do you think? What do you think? Congratulations, congratulations, Pablo. Your work was magnificent. And now I like you to. I need some clues here. I like you to pay attention to this other work. This is just about Gothic. This is Gothic, and in this case, Leire made this composition, and she is going to talk about Gothic style that has to do what Pablo de Soto told us just a moment ago, and you're going to pay attention to that. So this is the end of the presentation, and this is the first part. So Gothic cathedrals in Spain, so by Leire, and over here, and she's going to talk about Gothic art from the 12th to the 15th century. Okay, so talking about the Middle Ages, not the modern age, but the Middle Ages. And they start in the north of France. That's true. Good. And the most characteristic building, Gothic building, is a cathedral. Okay, but there are other kind of buildings that are built in Gothic style. And when Gothic style become more and more popular, cities start becoming more important. Now, this is a part of a Gothic cathedral. So some things we know because of Pablo de Soto. And look here. This is a Gothic cathedral. Could be Notre Dame in Paris. And you have here the aisles, las naves. Okay. We have here the pillars. Okay. We have here the walls. This is one tower, another tower. This is the rose window. And here you have, this is what Pablo called arbotantes. Okay, this is what Pablo called pinnacle, the buttress, the contrafuertes. You see? Okay, you see? So these are the parts of a Gothic cathedral. And this is one example. Okay, a beautiful, a fantastic cathedral, Gothic cathedral in Spain. So this is Cathedral of León. Cathedral of León, built in Gothic style, and this is very interesting. And this part, this rose window, is very famous in the world, not only in Spain, in the world. Okay, it's a rose window. You can see here, these are arbotantes. Good. This is the inside of the cathedral. The cathedral has 3 aisles, tres naves, 3 or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Sorry, 5. And this is the view. Okay. Normally, except for Toledo Cathedral, are exempt, which means that they don't have any other building attached to them. But you go to Toledo Cathedral has some walls with houses. Okay. So now another cathedral, Barcelona Cathedral, okay, La Mercè. This is called La Mercè Cathedral. Can you see? Okay. This is the inside of the cathedral. You can see this is one aisle, una nave. This is another one, and here you have another one. Okay, looks like 4 aisles. You can see here. This is the facade. This is the central aisle. This second, third, fourth, and fifth. Okay, so these are religious monuments. Huh. What do you think? What do you think? These two beautiful people there, I know them. Okay, but take a look here. Take a look here. This is another Gothic building, but this is not a cathedral. This is Barcelona, and this part here, this is the Generalitat Palace, Palacio de la Generalitat. Okay, and this is another building, but these two buildings are not religious. Okay, but political or whatever. Okay, but not religious. And this is a kind of bridge. Okay, between the two different buildings. And this is built in Gothic style. Okay, good. Actually, this is the neighborhood called the Gothic neighborhood in Barcelona. You go there along this line. Okay, you can get the cathedral there. And this is another example. This is another Gothic cathedral in Spain, Palma de Mallorca Cathedral. It's a very big cathedral, but the biggest cathedral, Gothic cathedral in Spain, is in Sevilla. This is Gothic as well. Okay, can you see it? And you have more civil buildings. This is a market in Palma de Mallorca, and this is typical of Gothic style. These are nerves. Okay, and these nerves carry the weight of the walls to the column here. Very good. That's the end. Thank you, Leire. Thank you, Pablo Laborda, and thank you, Pablo de Soto, for your work. And now we don't have more time. We're going to finish this transmission. And thank you. And we meet in just a couple of minutes.